Hi everybody, it's Maureen of Maureen 97 Designs, and it's been about 84 years since I last videoed something for my YouTube channel. Even longer if you're talking about something stamping related. So I really want to thank my subscribers for sticking around through the sort of radio silence periods, because I really appreciate all of my subscribers. And anybody who might just be joining me for this quick tip, thank you very much for watching. But anyway, so today is quick tip number 4 in my quick tip series. I'm trying to get back into my quick tip series. And it's basically on silicone mats. And so silicone mats are just awesome for crafting. You've probably seen a couple of different companies putting out their own version of the silicone mat. And what's great about it, if you don't already know, is that you can do ink blending on it and it cleans up pretty well. You can see mine got a little bit stained, but not really, really bad. I mean, this is a really vibrant pink ink over here, and it's not that bad. So you can do ink blending on it, and it's a nice surface to like tap off your brush before you take it to your surface, and you can blend on it. If you want to blend colors, you can do watercoloring on it. Use this as a palette when you're watercoloring. You can actually use it for mirror image stamping, and it makes mirror image stamping really, really easy. And it isn't harmed by heat, so if you're doing something with embossing, you can hold your embossing right over the mat and run your heat gun over, and it's not going to hurt the mat. But anyway, so a genius friend of mine in the Stamp Junkies group came up with the idea of cutting down a silicone mat to fit in her MISTI, and I thought that was just such a brilliant idea. But I didn't want to spend a lot of money on a fancy silicone mat just to cut it down. So I went on Amazon and I looked at different silicone mats, and they have them for everything. Every single purpose you can imagine, there's a silicone mat for it. And I found this one, actually. It is a pet feeding mat where you put it on the ground and then you put your pet's food and water dishes on it, and it keeps them from making too much of a mess. But it's still a silicone mat. So I thought, well, it's really big. I think it's about 13 by 16 or something like that. And it's really big. At the time I bought it, it was $9.99, which is really good for a big piece like this, especially since I'm just going to cut it down. So I ordered it, and I was very pleasantly surprised when it came. You can see that it's pretty thick. Over here is thicker, of course, because the edges are built up so that things don't run off the mat. And you see, you can't really see my fingers through it. It's white, which I wanted white, which although white stains, I wanted white to be able to see my colors on it if I'm using it as a palette for blending or watercoloring. And it cut like butter. So all I did was I took my T-ruler and I used a gel pen to draw some lines. And then I cut with the scissors. I used my, these are old Stampin' Up! Scissors, but this cuts really, really easily. So you could use a craft knife and a metal edge ruler and make sure you got straight cuts and things. And I basically cut it a little bit less than half, in half, and so I still have this big, nice workspace sized piece left that I'm going to leave permanently on my workspace. And you can see it's got that sort of, it's got that back where it's sort of sticky and sticks to my table so it doesn't move around even though I'm pushing on it. But it lifts up really easily, it cleans up really easily. Just a little quick tip within a tip: if it's sliding around on you, there are a couple of reasons why that might be happening, and one may be that your surfaces are dirty. So I would just take a damp cloth, wipe down the back of your mat, wipe down your surface, and see if it sticks then. If it still doesn't stick, then your surface might not be the right kind of surface for it to kind of stick to. But anyway, so I have this big piece left, which, let me move that to the side. And then I was able to cut this big piece from my original MISTI, and you can see, yeah, there's some staining. But that doesn't bother me because I kind of planned it this way where I'm gonna use little like quadrants of my mat for blending, ink blending. And I would probably always use this corner for pinks and reds, and then maybe this corner for yellows and oranges, and then blues and purples and greens and I don't know, greens and maybe darker browns, blacks, whatever. And so having it stained is just going to kind of remind me that, oh yeah, that's the area that I was doing the pink in. But, you know, it's not necessary because these clean off really easily with just a wet cloth. Maybe you can use a little bit of cleaner, but it's totally not necessary. So I was able to fit this, it just about the entire working space of my original size Misty. And then I still had a bunch left over that I was able to make a smaller pad for my mini size Misty, which this one, you might not be able to see, but it doesn't actually take up the whole space. It's a little bit thinner, or not as wide. But the really great thing is that I've got a bunch of paper from the paper pads, the My Sweet Petunia paper pads, and I've got my silicone piece, and my magnet still sticks really, really strong through that. So I know that even though my mat can't stick down to this surface, my magnet will keep it in place. But if I remove this paper pad and I just put it down on my Misty, the Misty actually, this plastic is a surface that the mat can cling to, so it sticks really well to that. The reason why I have the paper pad underneath is so that I bring it up to the right height for stamping with clear stamps. But if you're just using it like this for, you know, ink blending or stenciling or something, you can stick it directly to the bottom of your Misty and it sticks really, really well. So anyway, that's my quick tip number 4, and I hope that if you are in the market for a silicone mat, that you'll go and check out my affiliate link down below. I really appreciate your support, and thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time.